a religious summit. You have religious summits, and you have heads of state summits, and you have heads of state summits, and secretaries of state summits, and heads of defense summits, and religious summits. They are all political. So if they're having a summit, I can guarantee you it isn't about God. It's not about theology. It's not about, I found this out myself personally in 1983 with the World Council of Churches here. I was the only one talking theology to these people. and I wasn't even a Christian then. So anyhow, I was talking Christian theology and I wasn't even a Christian. So, there's a real problem there. Anyhow, no, it's obviously a political meeting. And it could be this, it could be that, or it could be this other thing over here. But here's my take. The leader of the Russian Orthodox Church is the leader of the Russian Orthodox Church. The leader of the Serbian Orthodox Church is the leader of the Serbian Orthodox Church. The leader of the Greek Orthodox Church is the leader of the Greek Orthodox Church. The leader of the Syrian Orthodox Church is the leader of the Syrian, and so forth. And the Orthodox churches are structured on a cultural national structure. The Russian, the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, but there's one Orthodox guy. Now this has to do with the nature of Orthodoxy. This Orthodox metropolitan would be the Pope of all the Orthodox churches. And traditionally he was appointed by the Byzantine Emperor. But since they're Orthodox, they didn't want to change traditions. It's the Ottoman Empire the Ottoman emperor appointed the head of all the Orthodox churches because they didn't want to change traditions. And today, the Turkish president appoints the Orthodox church. Wow. This is what Orthodoxy is all about, folks. If you don't, no. This is the Archbishop of Constantinople, or currently Istanbul.
Yeah. Okay.
Now he was involved in writing or working with the Pope on the new encyclical. Yes. Now, here's the deal. Here's my view. It has to do with what we talked about tonight, division. Because the Orthodox Church historically broke with the Western Church over the filioque. Now, the filioque means "and the Son." That's what filioque means. The Orthodox Church said, no, that's incorrect. It's from the Father through the Son. And the Western Church says, no, it's from the Father and the Son. Now, the issue is, did this Holy Ghost come from the Father, the creative Logos come from the Father through the Son, or did the Son have an independent creativity? If the Son, Jesus Christ, has an independent creativity, then mankind has an independent creativity. In the Orthodox Church, they deny that human beings have an independent creativity, but rather it is a gift of God through, if you are creative, it's not coming independently from you, it's coming from God through you. This is a very important point. Okay, this is very important. This is what separates the two religions. Now, you have this Jesuit Pope. Now, what's this Jesuit Pope like? He goes to visit a bunch of cannibals. They're eating human flesh. And the leader of the cannibal group says, hey, do you have anything like this in your church, in your religion? Oh, yeah, we eat the flesh of Jesus Christ every Sunday. That's a Jesuit. That's what the Jesuits are like. I'm telling you. I'm not joking. They're like that.
Did that happen?
No, but that's what they're like. They nominally pick one thing that's similar to another, and they bring them together. They don't have brains. They're scholars. They know all the facts, but they don't think. So you got this Jesuit Pope thinking that he's going to unite the Orthodox Church with the Catholic Church, with the Protestant Church, with the evangelicals. We're all going to come together and have one big soup, one big religion, and that's what this guy thinks. He's nuts, okay? He's made a huge move to incorporate the evangelicals into the church. He's gone to all the Marxists saying, you should join too. The Church of England is saying, you should be all part of this, right? And this guy, he's a Jesuit. He's nuts. He's stark raving mad. I'm telling you this, and I'm going way beyond what my organization is saying. I'm just, so anyhow, that's fine. So now he's meeting with this Russian Orthodox guy, and he's saying to him, look, we're on the same page, right? And then the question is the Russian Orthodox religion been infected with this vision that we're talking about? Is the Russian Orthodox view of man shifted somewhat so that they actually believe in the Russian nation and they believe in this idea of the vision that we've been talking about? Or does the Russian Orthodox Church and all the other Orthodox see this as a threat to their power, to their control over the people? So I envision the Pope making a pitch saying, look, let's get together on this and let's stop this crap about man being creative and all that. There ain't going to be no church after we develop all the human race because they're not going to need us anymore. Let's get together on this. And the Russian Orthodox guy says, well, I don't know about that. So now the question is this: will the Russian Orthodox, who have suffered under communism, under all the horrors, are they Russian first or Orthodox second? Or are they Orthodox first and Russian second? That's the issue.
Are you saying the West sees the creativity and the East doesn't?
I'm telling you,
that's backwards. That's not right.
I understand. You're right.
No, it's the other way around. It's the East that sees the creativity, not the West.
No. I'm talking about the schism that went.
I know, but through the sun, I think that's backwards.
No, the schism that took place.
The way that you're taking it, if I'm understanding you right.
No, I'm talking not about the West as it is now or the West as it was in any particular time. I'm talking about what the issue in the schism was.
Okay, but I'm saying the Western way of taking it is the way of no creativity. The Eastern way is
the current Western way is no creativity.
Even in the beginning.
No.
Yes.
Huh?
During the Renaissance. We're talking about Cusa. So
We're talking about a battle within the Christian religion.
Yes.
Which takes many different forms and many different ones. One,
I think it's a difference in semantics. The Eastern way is the creative one.
Now, are you talking about Christianity or Buddhism or?
Well, coming from Byzantine, like coming from the East, that was the creative one.
but it's not homogeneous. Like it's not.
okay,
It's not
I'm saying to you that in the Eastern Church or Orthodoxy, creativity does not occur in human beings except to the degree to which God makes a direct intervention into the mind of the person.
I think it's
Now, whether they believe that or not is another story.
I think it's a difference of semantics. I think that the sun is the medium
Look, I sat down with these people and had this discussion, okay,
Oh,
okay,
okay,
okay.
all right.
Yeah, I sat down.
What they believe and what the doctrine
Okay,
is
let
actually
me
saying.
go a little further. Let me go, let's have that discussion. Let's say, I'm gonna do the dialogue. This is the discussion, okay? I'll do the dialogue here. You guys in the West believe that human beings are independently created. That is heretical. That is ego. That is.
Who are you now?
Who are you now? Exactly.
No, but who are you representing right now?
I'm the Orthodox guy,
Okay.
speaking to the to the Western guy.
Yeah.
You guys got it all wrong. You believe that human beings are independently creative, and therefore they have, human mind has a human sovereign individual has the power to generate new ideas, like Kepler, or like LaRouche, or like Einstein. You believe that. We say no, that's arrogance. That's what's it called? It's hubris.
It's hubris, yeah.
It's hubris. It's defying God. Okay? And well, so how did Einstein get it? God gave it to him directly. That's how it happened. And they will they're Orthodox. You gotta understand, they're Orthodox. It's serious. It's you say, I'll tell you something funny. We went to in '83 I was at the World Council of Churches, and we had a sign saying the Russian we wanted to provoke the Russian Orthodox Church there. So we had a sign saying the Russian Orthodox must submit to the Filioque. And there was a riot. Wow. And you know the funny part? All the Protestant clerics were coming up to us saying, why are they upset? They didn't even know why the Russian Orthodox, that's how dumb the Protestants have become. They didn't even know why the Russians were upset. And we had fun. We had fun at that at that event. But anyhow, so what I'm saying, I'm not saying that's the problem, but I'm saying, in my view, the Pope and the British are trying to organize the Russian and all the Orthodox churches to join them in a global New World Order.
Yes.
And the Russian Orthodox Church is probably going to tell them to go screw themselves, because the Russian Orthodox Church is not infected by
It's been infiltrated.
by a different spirit, and they're the most respected and least corrupt of the Orthodox churches, because they have suffered under communism for so long. They didn't give in. Okay. Now, Putin is also Russian Orthodox. Now, I'm going to tell you one last funny thing. This guy who's a Russian Orthodox, writing in one of the publications that's considered very bad, he said that he was commenting on Lyndon LaRouche, and he said that Lyndon LaRouche's economics represent a new proof for the existence of God. His economic ideas, because of man is creative, and that's coming out of Orthodox circles in Russia. So I don't know where this is going to go.
So
But
humanity doesn't believe God exists?
no,
in
but
the
that
first place?
that the development of the economy and man's ability to create is another proof for the existence of God. Not a philosophical proof, it's a physical proof of the existence of God. And this was in the Russian publication, which had close connections to Russian Orthodox elements. So so that's the issue. For as far as I'm concerned, that is the issue. I could be wrong. I could be totally all wet. But my view is that this thing goes on at that level. And you got this Jesuit Pope going around saying, let's all get together and hold hands, sing Kumbaya together, and have this wonderful ecotopian world,
And control
and
humanity.
keep the population from becoming developed to the point where they don't need us.
Well, can I just ask you
Yeah.
to raise everybody's awareness as well about something as far as the church goes? Because this is not something that the average person knows.
No.
No. What I'm about to say is not something that the average
Okay.
person knows. Is that that the Vatican is an intelligence group. Now, as you told us last night, that the Russian Orthodox Church has also become somewhat of an intelligence group. No one understands that. I don't think any of these people, the average person, understands that aspect of how the church operates.
That's right.
Can you expand on
Intelligent group
Have a
was
library,
spies.
Huge. Brain freeze.
A long time
In
ago.
the 80s, the word was going around that there were the following major intelligence entities in the world. There was British intelligence, there was U.S. intelligence, there was Russian, Soviet intelligence, there was Chinese intelligence, there was Vatican intelligence, and then there was the LaRouche movement intelligence. And we were the smallest of the group, but we were considered, in our capacity through our analysis, not through our knowledge of what's going on, but through our analysis, to be on a par with a major intelligence organization. And the Vatican was one of them. Okay. Now, how does the Vatican intelligence system work? Very simple. What do you do when you go to see a priest in private? You go to confession.
You confess.
That's how the part of the intelligence works.
That's what I consider original sin.
And what do you have to do when you go to see, when you go talk to the priest? You got to tell him your sins. Right? You got to tell them all your sins. It's a good system, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's just that it wears the priests out though. It's not good for them. So the Vatican situation is very complicated, and I'll explain briefly. For those of you who may or may not know the history of the church, I only know it in a very cursory way. You had the part of the church that was involved in the Renaissance. It was very short-lived. Then the part of the church that came in was just absolutely nasty, vicious. Before the Renaissance, they were absolutely vicious and nasty. But there was this Renaissance element in the church in the 1400s. Very brief. They played a key role in launching the European Renaissance, but after that, it got drowned in blood. The Jesuit order was created as part of creating the structure for doing that, back in the 1500s. Okay. Up until, let me tell you how bad it is. The oligarchy ran the church, ran the Catholic Church. Okay, and for the most part, and one of the most oligarchical, anti-human elements of the church was in Latin America, and most of all in Mexico. And they did not believe in the Mexican nation. They believed it should still be under Spain into the 21st century, to 20th century. That's how backward they were. The church itself underwent a transition in 1878 when you had the first modern pope, Leo XIII. Now, Leo XIII was a break with the papacy generally going back, except for the period where there was a break in the 1700s when the Jesuit order was kicked out. But that was forced upon the Vatican by the King of Spain and the King of Portugal. Nonetheless, Leo XIII was a break in the Vatican tradition because up until then, the church did not recognize the existence of sovereign nations. They were opposed to the idea of sovereign nations. And so in 1878, you had the shift in the church, and then you have what we call the modern popes. And what I mean by modern popes is they basically subscribe to the nation-state idea. They went along with it. It also means they will go along with scientific progress. So from 1878 till this new pope, Francis, you have what I call the modern popes. The modern popes went along with the idea of nation-state. They went along with science and technology, went along with progress. and it ends with Francis,
This is in the Western Church.
the Western Church. Okay, that's in the Catholic Church. So you have essentially 30 some years. And now you have a new pope that's in a different manifold altogether. Okay. Now, but the turning point came when John Paul II became unable to control the Vatican. When he got ill, he developed Parkinson's. He became after a while. And for the last years of his administration as pope, he was not in control anymore. And all the forces that have been built up, the modernist forces, all the crazy crap that's been built up by the British and by all the other operations, then comes into the church, and now the church starts to go off into a tradition which ended basically with John Paul II. It was carried over briefly by Pope Benedict, Ratzinger, and then after that, this is my view. So now you've got a church that has this weird approach, but then you have the Catholic Church itself is not all on board with all of that. So you have, so when I went to the cathedral to hand out flyers on midnight mass on World War III, I asked all these people, I was saying, what do you think of this Pope? And they said he sucks. Most of the people said he sucks, for whatever reason. So, so I don't know. Now the Orthodox thing is more complicated. I really don't know it. It's country by country. I really don't know what's going on with them. The paradox is they did not get infected with all this cultural crap, rock, drug, sex, counterculture, all that stuff. So on one level, they don't have the corruption, the cultural corruption that has occurred in the last 50 years, 60 years in the West, which acts as a kind of prophylactic against that cultural corruption, but then they have their own issues, their own problems. So that's my basic orientation on that.
Last one.
This is the Archbishop of Constantinople, or currently Istanbul.
Okay.
Now he was involved in writing or working with the Pope on the new encyclical.
Yes.
Now, here's the deal. Here's my view. It has to do with what we talked about tonight, the vision. Because the Orthodox Church historically broke with the Western Church over the filioque. Now, the filioque means and the Son. That's what filioque means. Metropolitan would be the Pope of all the Orthodox churches. And traditionally, he was appointed by the Byzantine Emperor. But since they're Orthodox, they didn't want to change traditions. It's the Ottoman Empire, who the Ottoman emperor appointed the head of all the Orthodox churches because they didn't want to change traditions. And today, the Turkish president appoints the Orthodox church.
Wow.
This is what Orthodoxy is all about, folks. If you don't, no. This is about myself personally. In 1983, with the World Council of Churches here, I was the only one talking theology to these people, and I wasn't even a Christian then. So anyhow, I was talking Christian theology, and I wasn't even a Christian. So you know, there's a real problem there. Anyhow, no, it's obviously a political meeting, and it could be this, it could be that, or it could be this other thing over here. But here's my take. The leader of the Russian religious summit. You have religious summits, and you have heads of state summits, and you have heads of state summits and you know, secretaries of state summits and heads of defense summits and religious summits. They are all political. So if they're having a summit, I can guarantee you it isn't about God. It's not about theology. It's not about, I found the Russian Orthodox Church is the leader of the Russian Orthodox Church. The leader of the Serbian Orthodox Church is the leader of the Serbian Orthodox Church. The leader of the Greek Orthodox Church is the leader of the Greek Orthodox Church. The leader of the Syrian Orthodox Church is the leader of the Syrian, and so forth. And the Orthodox churches are structured on a cultural national structure. You know, the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, you know, so. But there's one Orthodox guy. Now this has to do with the nature of Orthodoxy. This Orthodox